I went a little too soon on this one, but I had to because my kids and like schedule stuff. But the moral of the story is don't take it too serious. Even if your bread doesn't come out perfect, it ain't no big deal. It's still delicious. I bet you your family's still gonna love it. But it needed more time to rise up in the bread pan before I baked it. Can't rush sourdough. You know what? This is a good learning lesson. I'm going to redo this and insert a little clip of what the bread should look like before you bake it and how it's so much better when you let it fully proof. Not good? Good. Wow. The main reason I'm obsessed with this sandwich loaf recipe, besides the fact that my kids adore it, is because it requires so little effort on my part. It's less than 15 minutes of hands-on time. All you do is the night before, you mix this dough in your stand mixer. If you stay awake long enough, you can give it a quick second mix after about 30 minutes just to really develop that gluten. You can do that in the stand mixer or with stretch and folds. The next morning, your dough has risen, you dump it out, roll it up, stick it in your loaf pan, cover it, and later that day, when it has risen up nicely, you bake it. That's it. I'm telling you, less than 15 minutes of work. It's so quick and easy. This dough is a really simple mix of 240 grams water, 100 grams starter, 450 grams all-purpose flour, 50 grams whole wheat flour, 6 tablespoons of butter at room temperature, 10 grams of honey, and 10 grams of sea salt. That's it. It mixes in your stand mixer. If you don't have a stand mixer, you can hand knead it, but just make sure it gets this really soft texture that you see here. Cover it, let it rest for about 30 minutes to relax, and just strengthen it one more time. Here I opted for stretch and folds. You could also just do it in the stand mixer again with your dough hook, and then it's gonna chill on your counter. And by chill, I don't mean cold. I mean it's gonna rest on your counter overnight to get nice and tall, let that bulk fermentation do its magic. I love doing a time lapse, and then I will meet you the next morning for the easy, easy, easy shaping. Good morning. It is quiet in my house. It is like 7 a.m. My sandwich bread has really risen a lot. It's time to shape it and put it in our bread pan. This is a USA Pan brand bread pan. It's phenomenal. It's nonstick. They use a silicone type coating on here, and I love it. Just love it. Okay, so I'm going to set this down while I do the shaping. I've tried clipping it to my shirt and stuff, and you just can't hear me very well, so I'm at the mercy of this spatula. So first I'm going to dump it out. You gotta get every last bit. No bits left behind. Okay, so your dough should be not too sticky. Like when you pick it up, it shouldn't be sticking to your surface. If it is, you might need to add a little bit less water next time, or use colder water. Keep it in a little bit of a cooler place because it might be a little bit overproofed, but it shouldn't stick to your surface. And what we're going to do here is we're going to stretch it out into a long rectangle that's just a little bit less wide, just a little bit narrower than the width of our bread pan, so that when we roll it up, we can plop it in here, and that's where it's going to do its second rise. You can use a rolling pin if you want it to be super smooth. If you're in a hurry or you don't really care that much, you can just use your hands to get into a rough rectangle. So let me move this out of the way so you can see good. Okay, don't be afraid to use your rolling pin. Normally with artisan loaves, we try not to pop the bubbles in there, but for this sandwich bread, it's not as big of a deal because this hydration is very low. It's going to be more of a closed crumb anyway, and you don't want any huge air pockets in there, because for a sandwich loaf, we don't want anything to fall through it. We want it to be perfect for sandwiches, so don't worry about that. Okay, now it's time to roll her up. At this point, if you're feeling a little crazy, you could add a cinnamon sugar butter spread on here, and then when you roll it up, you'll have a cinnamon swirl sandwich loaf. Totally optional. My kids like plain though. That's literally it. It's as easy as that. Okay, now we're gonna pick it up, drop it in our loaf pan. If you want, you can kind of pinch the sides together so you don't see the roll structure. I've done it, I've not done it.
we just don't care that much because my kids don't eat the ends anyway. So I don't fuss with it. I just leave it because I know we're going to be cutting off the very end. That's it. Seam side is going down because it's staying in this loaf pan until we bake it. If you don't have one of these USA pans, I highly recommend either spraying your pan with some nonstick oil, or you can kind of butter it and then flour it. Just whatever you have to do to make sure that your bread's not going to stick. Some bakers also like parchment rectangles that are made to fit in bread pans. So you put that in and then put your dough inside that. That looks really cool. I kind of want to buy one, but I'm obsessed with these USA pans and I just don't need them at the moment, but I will be sure to find some and link them in the description for you. Okay, so that's it. That's as much time as this takes in your morning. So if you got to go to work, no problem. It takes you like 5 minutes to dump it out, roll it up, and stick it in the pan. What we're going to do is cover this with plastic wrap, or a damp towel would be okay. Just when it dries out, your surface of your dough might dry out a little bit, so plastic wrap is the most efficient way, but if you have something else you like to use, that's fine. We're going to cover this, and we want it to rise until it's about 1/2 inch to 1 inch higher than our loaf pan. The thing with this sandwich bread is when you bake it, it doesn't rise a whole lot more than what it already is. So make sure you get the height and kind of the shape that you want out of your bread before you put it in the oven. In my house, this usually takes 5 to 6 hours, but you can push it a little bit with this dough because it's a lower hydration. There's a little bit more flexibility in the timeline. If you are going to work or something, just put this in a warm place until you need to leave the house, then put it in the fridge. And then when you come back home, take it out of the fridge, put it back in that warm place, and it should be ready to bake before bed. If that timeline doesn't end up working out for you, what you can do is shape it, put it directly in the fridge, and then the next morning, bring it out from the fridge, leave it on the counter, and proceed like normal. That would be good for like a weekend when you're home and can bake it when it rises to its perfect height. The other option would be in the morning. In the morning, when you shape it, put it in a cool place while you're at work so that it's still rising but not too quickly. And then when you get home from work later that evening, hopefully it'll be at the height that you want without have gotten crazy and overproofing. So just experiment a little bit. It's kind of the name of the game with sourdough, and what you do during like the winter will probably need to be shifted during the summer just because of the changing temperature and humidity in your house. We all have to tweak things. It's half the fun of sourdough, half the challenge. Okay, I'm gonna cover this up and I'll be back early this afternoon. Bye.
She has risen. She's looking beautiful. I did a little poke test right here. I just poked it. You see how it's indented and staying? That's just a fun little way to tell how much air is in your dough. I think she's about ready. It needs to rise just a teensy bit more, but I'm gonna go ahead and preheat my oven to 375 degrees Fahrenheit. And hopefully once it's preheated, this will have gone the rest of the way. It has been a lot longer than normal. It's about, what time is it, 1:30? Yeah, it's about 1:30 p.m., but this is the temperature in my house, like 68 degrees. Normally our house is a lot warmer than that, and this part goes faster, so the timing will totally vary. Don't pay attention to the clock, pay attention to your dough. It's time to bake our beautiful loaf. I would probably normally let it go a teeny bit longer, but the timing right now is just gonna have to do because we've got a date night and I've got to wrap this baby up. I wanted to let you know what the dough temperature is. It's 69 degrees, and in our home right now, it is 69.4. It's warmed up a teeny bit. And it is 2:10 p.m. Oh my gosh, it smells so good. Okay, so what I do is I just put this directly in the oven. Nothing special, no water spraying, no scoring, nothing. And it comes out beautiful every time. I've tested doing the double loaf pan method and not with this particular recipe, and it's never made a difference. But I want to revisit that thought. So I'm going to do the double loaf pan method on this one just for fun. I'm gonna spritz the top with a little bit of water.
See what happens. I can never stop experimenting. It's just not gonna happen. I can't help myself. And since this didn't rise quite as much as I want, I'd like another like 1/2 inch on that. Maybe this will help it. Oh, geez, a little bit. Okay, that's literally the double loaf pan method. That's it. Sticking this baby in my preheated oven. And yeah, I got rid of the jeans. I can't do it. Okay. Oh, stay on there, buddy. What are you doing? Here we go. The lid wanted to slide off. Okay, sorry, that was our date night calling to confirm a reservation. I got her in the oven. That's what she looks like. She's staying in there for 45 minutes or until the internal temperature is 205-ish degrees Fahrenheit. I believe that's 96 degrees Celsius. So I'll check it in 45 minutes. That's about how long it takes. Also, my oven is on convection, 375 convection. That's what I bake at. Okay, see you in a little bit. It's so funny. As soon as you really start smelling the bread, it's done, I feel like. There's 20 seconds left and I just got up and was like, really smells like bread in here. Let's see how she's doing. Here's our girly. Let me do a temp check and see if she needs more time. Okay, she is gonna need a little bit more time. We're at 183. So that's why it's important to check your dough. Sometimes, like in the past, I've made this same recipe and it was exactly 45 minutes, and this time she's gonna need a little bit more. So I will do, let's say like another 5 minutes or so, and then I'll come back and see if she's done. Okay, she reached her temperature. She needed 8 extra minutes than what the recipe called for. And I learned this trick from you guys. When it comes out of the oven, to get a really soft crust on these sandwich loaves, just rub it with some butter. It does make a difference. Back to my buttered dish. All right, so this is gonna cool for like 5 minutes and then I will turn it out of this bread pan. If the bottom is like moist feeling, especially if you oiled the pan first, when you turn it out, you're just gonna leave it upside down to kind of air dry for like 30 minutes and it will totally resolve. But I'll be back to show you that whole thing. Okay.
A few moments later.
Scared. Okay, the bread has cooled off for about 20 minutes. Kind of forgot about it, honestly. Here she goes. There's a little bit of moisture in here, so it's just steam. The bottom of the loaf, oh, it's actually not so bad. But it is a teeny bit moist. Literally just let it sit on your counter like this for 20-30 minutes and it will completely dry out. This is what our loaf looks like. I just want to eat it. Okay, I'm gonna let it cool for like 10 more minutes and then I'm running out of time for my kids run in here and act like crazy people. So I will cut into it a little bit sooner than I'd like to, but I want to see what the inside looks like. I'm worried I didn't let it rise long enough. Normally it's a little bit taller than this. That would be a shame. Okay, let's take a look at her. I'm a little scared, but you know what? I always share the good, the bad, and the ugly. So if this is not ideal, definitely not my best. I should have let it rise a little bit more. Super soft and squishy though. Oh yeah, it's gonna be delicious. I'm kind of sad that this isn't like my best work, but it happens, it happens. It's a little impatient. Okay, let's try it. My kids go crazy for this sandwich bread. They love how soft it is. And the little touch of honey adds just a tiny bit of sweetness to it. That's just delicious. It's so good. So, what I think happened here, potentially 2 things. I think I messed up my bulk fermentation a little. I rewatched the overnight proofing, and it was warmer in that spot than I thought because the dishwasher was right underneath it. So that area got pretty warm and the dough definitely more than doubled in size. I need to go back and look at the actual milliliter markings on the side, but it rose a lot. The other thing is the second rise was at a much cooler temperature. And I normally like to see the bread about an inch or two even above the lip of the bread pan. Because as you know, it's not gonna rise that much more in the oven. And I went a little too soon on this one, but I had to because my kids and schedule stuff. But the moral of the story is, don't take it too serious. Even if your bread doesn't come out perfect, it ain't no big deal. It's still delicious. I bet you your family's still gonna love it. My husband told me one time, I was like, oh, I'm sorry, like this loaf of bread is a little bit overproofed. And he was like, over what? Like he had no clue what I was talking about. Nobody knew. I was the only one who knew. So let this video be a message, a little encouragement that not all of us get it perfect every time. And it ain't no big deal. Delicious. I need a do-over though.
See the dense gummy spot at the bottom? It really tastes good and it's still fluffy, but it needed more time to rise up in the bread pan before I baked it. Can't rush sourdough. The alternative that I could have done today that I did not do, that I now regret, is putting it in my proofing box and keeping the temperature really warm. If you don't have a proofing box, you can just put it in your oven with the light on, and if your oven light is LED, just put a cup of boiling water in the corner of the oven. It'll keep it nice and toasty in there, and it'll help this go faster. But you know what? This is a good learning lesson. I'm going to redo this and insert a little clip of what the bread should look like before you bake it, and how it's so much better when you let it fully proof. So here's my redemption loaf. I accidentally let it proof a little bit too long, but that's because we went out on the boat unexpectedly, and so I wasn't here to put it in the oven. But this is more of what you're looking for. It should be higher than your loaf pan, nice and jiggly. I rushed the other one. This one's gonna be beautiful. So let me go ahead and bake this one up and I will show you the difference between getting the proofing right and what we saw before. Not good? Good. Wow. That's a big difference. Happy baking.